let me ask you something honest. What is the very first thing you say to yourself when you wake up in the morning? Not what you wish you said, not what you plan to say. What do you actually say? Because for most people it sounds something like this. I'm already tired. I don't want to do this. I don't know if I'm good enough. Another day, same problems. And here is what nobody tells you. Those words are not random. Those are not just thoughts floating through your head. Those are instructions. Your brain hears every single one of them and follows them like a command. The most powerful people in the world, the ones who built empires, who survived collapse, who kept winning when everything said they should quit. They understood something most people spend their entire lives never figuring out. Your morning words set the architecture of your entire day. So for the next few minutes, I am giving you 12 mantras. Not affirmations, not wishful thinking. These are psychological anchors, tested by time, forged in Stoic philosophy and ancient wisdom, designed to reprogram how you think, how you carry yourself, and how you respond when life pushes back. Stay until the end, because the 12th one is the one that will shake you. Before we begin, understand this. A mantra works the same way a muscle works. You say it when it is hard. You say it when you don't feel it. You say it when everything inside you wants to give up. And over time, it stops being words and starts being who you are. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful rulers in human history, wrote private notes to himself every single morning, not to flex, to remind himself who he decided to be, before the chaos of the day had a chance to decide for him. That is what we are doing today. Drop a comment right now and tell me, what word best describes where your mindset is now? Tired? Ready? Doubtful? Focused? I want to see it. Drop it right now. 1. I control my thoughts. My thoughts do not control me. This is where every other mantra begins, because if you cannot claim authority over your own mind, nothing else works. Here is the hard truth. Your brain is not naturally on your side. It is wired to scan for threats, replay failures, and catastrophize anything uncertain. That is not a character flaw, that is biology. But biology is not destiny. You are not a passenger in your own head. The Stoics called this the discipline of assent, the practice of pausing before you react to a thought, not suppressing it, not pretending it isn't there, but choosing whether to act on it. How to apply this in your life? Tomorrow morning, the moment a negative or anxious thought enters your mind, do not fight it. Just name it. Say, that is a thought. It is not a fact. That single act of naming creates distance between you and the thought. Distance creates choice. Choice creates power. Every powerful person you admire mastered this first. Before strategy, before discipline, before success. They learned to be the one choosing which thoughts to follow. 2. I face discomfort with calm, because growth lives there. Think about the last time you avoided something difficult. Maybe it was a hard conversation, a challenging project, a decision that scared you, and in the moment, avoiding it felt like relief. But 3 days later, a week later, that avoidance turned into weight. Discomfort is not the problem. Your relationship with discomfort is. The Stoics had a practice called voluntary hardship, deliberately doing something difficult every single day, not because you had to, but to prove to yourself that you could. Cold mornings, fasting, difficult conversations, physical training, not for punishment, for proof. How to apply this in your life? Identify the one thing you have been avoiding this week, not the easiest thing on your list, the heaviest one. Do that first tomorrow morning, before your phone, before your comfort routine. Attack the hard thing. When you do, say this mantra as you begin it. You are teaching your nervous system that discomfort is not a signal to retreat. It is a signal that something important is happening. Drop a comment right now. Type the one word that describes the thing you have been avoiding. Just one word. You don't have to explain it. Just name it. That is the first step. 3. I protect my peace, no matter who or what tries to take it. This one will cost you, people. I need you to understand that before we go further. Protecting your peace is not passive. It is not soft. It is one of the most aggressive and disciplined things you can do in a world that is constantly trying to pull your attention, drain your energy, and recruit you into other people's chaos. And here is what makes this difficult. Some of the biggest threats to your peace are people you love, people who mean well, people who are not even trying to hurt you, but whose noise, whose panic, whose unresolved problems become your emergency if you let them. How to apply this in your life? Build what I call a peace perimeter around your mornings. The first hour of your day belongs to you. No news, no social media, no checking messages, no absorbing other people's urgency before you have established your own. That first hour shapes the emotional baseline you carry through the entire day. Guard it the way you would guard something irreplaceable, because your mental state is exactly that. 5. I let go of what I cannot control and focus on what I can. This is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Epictetus, a man who was born into slavery and became one of the most influential philosophers in history, built his entire teaching on one idea: there are things within your control and things outside of it. Your only job is to know the difference and act accordingly. Traffic is not in your control. Your response to it is. Your past is not in your control. Your choices today are. What people think of you is not in your control. Your integrity is. How to apply this in your life? Every morning this week, take 60 seconds and write 2 columns. On the left, what is stressing me that I cannot change? On the right, what can I actually do today? Then close the left column. Mentally, emotionally, close it. Spend your energy exclusively on the right side. This is not denial. This is precision. Powerful people do not scatter their energy. They concentrate it. 5. I rise from setbacks stronger, sharper, and more focused. Let me tell you something about the people you look up to, the ones who built the lives you want, who lead the rooms you want to be in. Every single one of them has a version of a story that nearly broke them. Job loss, business failure, betrayal, loss. A season where everything collapsed at once. The difference was never that they didn't fall. The difference was what they did in the fall. The ancient Stoics called this amor fati, love of fate, not just accepting what happens, loving it, using it, treating every obstacle as the very thing that qualifies you for the next level. How to apply this in your life? Think of your most painful setback from the last 2 years. Now ask yourself, what did that teach you that success never could have? Write that down. Read it every morning this week beside this mantra, because your setbacks are not evidence against you. They are credentials. The world does not respect people who had it easy. It respects people who came back. If this one hit you, type "wronger" in the comments right now. I want to know who has walked through fire and is still here. 6. I do not chase approval. I live by my principles. This is the one that makes people uncomfortable, because most of us were raised in systems that rewarded approval. School, work, social media, family dynamics. We learned early that fitting in kept us safe, that being liked meant being valuable. But here is the cost. When you live for approval, you outsource your decisions to whoever is watching. You become a performance instead of a person. And you wake up one day living a life that is entirely shaped around what other people expected, and entirely hollow. How to apply this in your life? Write down 3 principles that define who you are, not who you want people to think you are. 3 things you would refuse to compromise regardless of who is watching. Then, when a decision comes up this week, run it through those 3 principles before you run it through the question of what others will think. Build the habit of consulting yourself first. That is not selfishness. That is integrity. 7. I walk with purpose and speak only when it adds power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Most people are the loudest in the room and the least impactful. They confuse volume with significance. They talk about what they are going to do. They announce their plans. They perform their ambition for an audience that will forget them by next week. Purpose does not announce itself. It moves. It acts. It builds in silence and lets the results testify. How to apply this in your life? For the next 7 days, practice this one discipline. Before you speak in any room, any meeting, any conversation, any comment section, ask one question: does this add anything? If the honest answer is no, stay quiet. Presence is not built by noise, it is built by relevance. When you speak less, what you say carries more weight. When you move with intention, people feel it before you say a word. Drop a fire emoji in the comments if you needed to hear mantra 7. I see every single one of you. 8. I do not compete with others. I only compete with who I was yesterday. Social media has created one of the most psychologically dangerous habits in modern history. Constant, effortless comparison. You open your phone and within 30 seconds you have measured your life against someone else's highlight reel, their curated best moments, their carefully selected wins. And you feel behind, even when you are not. The Stoics were ruthless about this. Your neighbor's virtue does not diminish yours. Someone else's progress does not erase your growth. You are not running their race, you are running yours. How to apply this in your life? Every Sunday evening, sit down and compare yourself only to the version of you from 7 days ago, not your colleague, not someone you follow online. Just you 7 days ago. Ask, did I grow? Did I act with more discipline, more clarity, more honesty? If the answer is yes, even slightly, you are winning. Stack those wins week over week. That is how transformation actually happens. 9. I choose discipline over regret every single time. Regret is the heaviest thing a person can carry. It does not just live in the past. It reaches forward and poisons your present, your confidence, your willingness to try again. And almost every regret comes from the same source: choosing comfort in the moment over commitment to the person you said you wanted to become. You scooped session, every conversation you knew you needed to have and didn't. Every decision you made from fear instead of principle. These are not just small choices. They are votes cast daily for the person you are becoming. How to apply this in your life? At the end of each day this week, ask yourself one question: did I choose the person I want to be, or did I choose comfort? No judgment, no self-punishment, just honesty. Because awareness is the first act of discipline. You cannot correct what you will not acknowledge. Leave a comment below and finish this sentence. The discipline I need most right now is be honest. This community respects honesty more than performance. 10. I am not defined by my past. I am built by my choices today. Your history is real. Your pain is real. Your failures are real. I am not asking you to pretend they are not. But they are not the final word on who you are. They are the material, what you build from them. That is your character. The most liberating thing Stoic philosophy offers is this: the present moment is always where your power lives, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Right now, in this decision, in this response, in this choice, you have authority. How to apply this in your life? If you're holding something against yourself, a mistake, a season, a version of yourself you are ashamed of, I want you to write it down, then write this beside it. That happened. It does not get to decide what happens next. You do not have to forget it. You do not have to be at peace with it. You just have to stop letting it cast votes in your present decisions. Reclaim the authority that belongs to you right now. 11. I invest in myself daily because I am my greatest asset. Every high-performing person in history, every strategist, every builder, every leader understood that the most important investment they would ever make was not in a market or a business. It was in their own capacity, their thinking, their skills, their character. Warren Buffett calls it investing in yourself. The Stoics called it the work on the self. Whatever you call it, the principle is the same. The world rewards people who grow. And growth is not accidental, it is intentional, daily, and often invisible to everyone watching. How to apply this in your life? Identify one area, where you have been coasting. Not performing badly, just not growing. A skill you stopped sharpening. A habit you abandoned. A discipline you meant to build. Recommit to it today with a specific daily action. Not a big plan, one action, daily, for 30 days. You will not recognize yourself on the other side of it. 12. I silence doubt with action. This is the one. This is where most people lose the war that nobody else can see. Doubt is not the enemy of progress. Inaction is. Every single person who has ever achieved anything significant, built a business, changed their life, stood for something that mattered. Every one of them acted while the doubt was still present. The doubt did not leave first. The action came first, and the doubt got quieter with every step. You are waiting to feel ready. You are waiting for clarity. You are waiting for the fear to pass. But clarity comes from moving. Confidence comes from doing. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. How to apply this in your life? What is the one thing you have been waiting to start until you felt more ready? A business idea, a difficult conversation, a creative project, a lifestyle change. Name it to yourself right now. Then do one thing about it today. Not tomorrow, not Monday. Today, before you sleep tonight, take one action, however small, toward it, because the version of you that you are trying to become is not built in some distant future. It is being built right now, in this moment, by whether you move or stay still. Type action in the comments right now if you are committing to that one thing today. I want to see every single name. 12 mantras, 12 disciplines, and here is the most important thing I can tell you before this ends. The world does not decide who you are. The circumstances of your life do not decide who you are. Other people's opinions, their expectations, their doubts, their limitations, none of that decides who you are. You do. Every single morning, with the words you choose to say to yourself before the noise of the day begins. You are not just repeating phrases when you say these mantras. You are making a declaration. You are reminding your own mind of the standards you have committed to. You are building a person, one morning at a time. Say them every day. Say them when they feel true. Say them especially when they do not. That is precisely when they matter most. Speak power. Live power. If this video added something real to your morning, share it with one person who needs it. Not everyone has someone to remind them who they can become. Be that for someone today. Subscribe to the Corporate Canon. We release new content every day, drawn from the deepest wells of Stoic philosophy and ancient wisdom, designed specifically for the person who refuses to settle for an ordinary life. And if you are serious about changing your life, type "ready" right now and make these 12 mantras part of your daily routine. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. See you tomorrow.